Your distinguished Master of Ceremonies, Your Excellency Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, our two foreign ministers and distinguished ministers here present, Your Worship, Mr. Somveli Dlamini, the Mayor of the City of Victoria Falls, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Zimbabwe to Botswana, Mr. Henry Mukoshunduweru, the Charge d'Affaires of Botswana to Zimbabwe, Mr. Edson Kuhlman, Captains of Industry, senior government officials, service chiefs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, a very good evening to you all. Let me begin, Your Excellency, by expressing how deeply honored, on behalf of the government of the people of Botswana, government of the Republic of Botswana, and the people of Botswana, to be here in this historic city of the Victoria Falls, where the mighty and grandiose, though it still has a colonial name, Victoria Falls, on this important occasion of the third session of the Botswana-Zimbabwe Bi-National Commission. My gratitude, Your Excellency, to you, as I stated to you in private, is born out of the fraternity, the warmth of reception, the generous hospitality extended first to my delegation, and they reported to me, and I saw it gleaming in their faces, and this has been so since even my arrival. This, in my view, Your Excellency, is nothing but akin to royal treatment. There's a danger to it. If you do that, we threaten to come again. Your Excellency, I must confess, Mr. President, that each time I lay my eyes on the beauty and the magnificence of the Victoria Falls, also known as Musiwa Tunya, or the smoke that thunders, I find myself awestruck, as you so beautifully did when you came into Botswana in my bedroom and you invited yourself to open the door to the balcony and show me the mighty Musiwa Tunya. It is no wonder that these falls acquired a World Heritage Site status. As many of you will be aware, the Victoria Falls are of immense importance to the tourism industry, not only to the countries in which they are located, which in this case is Zambia and Zimbabwe, but the entire sub-region. This is mainly because it embodies the yarn that weaves the colorful and ever-inviting tapestry of our tourism. I can understand why my dear brother chose this venue to host us, and I dare hazard to suggest and think it might have anything to do with the leg irons and being released after imprisonment. The location speaks for itself. Your Excellency, before I get to the did you know part, which I must, I think it would be remiss if we did not all recognize that this is our first BNC without our dear friend and dear brother, Lieutenant General Dr. Sibusiso Moyo, retired. He is indeed dearly missed, with his always spot-on sense of humor. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. I don't know if you know, but did you know that upon assumption of office on the 1st of April 2018, and preceding our general election, we in the new leadership gravitated our political party first, the BDP, along a new course and direction, which is reflected in the way we related to Zimbabwe, different from the way we used to. Did you know that was not an accident? It was out of deliberate, logically thought through, determined change of course of action. Did you know, and I hope you will now know, because I'm sure you did not know, that in the BDP is a ruling party in Botswana, out of logical analysis, we concluded and we thrust through the concept that I wish you to buy into forever, that against what was conventional wisdom and knowledge, the BDP was also a liberation movement. And I've argued strongly that we deserve and demand our seat among the liberation movements of Southern Africa. Because there's no other party that led Botswana. It was the BDP that facilitated the liberation of the region. The only difference, and it is a distinct criterial difference, we did not bear arms. We bore our wisdom, we bore our humility, we bore our suaveness, and we were brutally punished for it. But we did not give up. Did you know? So yes, you can go ahead and call us comrades. And so we changed course. And we decided, out of deliberate action, we are going to embrace you with our bosoms. Did you know that, yes, we may be relatively younger, but we are not any less wiser. The difference in age between my dear brother and myself is 20 years. So he went into prison before I was born, got out of prison. Studied before I was born, then I was born. But it does not stop us from embracing one another. It's important, not for ourselves, the two human beings or characters, it's important for our two nation states. And that you must know. Did you know that our disposition as we migrated to the 2019 elections and beyond, because we succeeded, was to posture ourselves on the understanding and commitment to a knowledge-based economy. I shared these thoughts with your Minister of Tertiary Education, Science and Technology several times because he chaperoned me. And so, what you are doing in Zimbabwe is not different from what we are trying to do. But because of your resilience, and clearly the maturity and seniority, particularly as expressed by the difference in age between the leaders, we look up to you. Did you know that tonight, when we reviewed your work and went through every decision with His Excellency, we concluded that you're going to broaden the aspect of research collaboration? Did you know? And so, tell the world it's no accident that Botswana is next to Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is next to Botswana, Tell the world that it's not an accident that we are related. Tell the world that it's not an accident that we are together. And what you feel as pain and anguish in Zimbabwe, we feel every bit of it. What you feel as happiness and excitement extends to us. What you feel as prosperity is our prosperity. And you must understand, because I don't want to keep you here the whole night, that this extends to our policy. This extends to our international relations. This extends to our economic activities. And these are documented, and we must flush out through instruments of cooperation, such as SADC, our instruments of cooperation, such as the African Union Agenda 2063, our instruments of cooperation, such as the AFCTA. And the beginning point, the market women and men of Zimbabwe must find peace and effortlessness in crossing the border to trade in Botswana and vice versa. And did you know, we are the only people in this room who are delaying that, because they are not. And we'd better stop it. So, Your Excellency, I could go on and on about this long speech about, how we love each other and what we plan to do at a bilateral level and sub-regional level. Suffice to say that Botswana, as His Excellency knows very well, is steadfast in its commitment and resolve to support the people of Mozambique. It's no accident. We have little ability. We are a poor country. But whatever little we have to share with our brothers and sisters in Mozambique in a quest for peace, we will do it. And the logic is very simple. If it's them today, tomorrow it's us. So I want to urge you as Zimbabweans, through you, Your Excellency, that we continue to solidify the bloc. We mobilize other leaders and countries to be laser focused on this mission and target. It is not ambiguous. It's well defined. Let's find it, aim for it, and kill it. It's simple. And the sooner we do that, the faster we can get on with the challenge of development. In Botswana, I like to tell my cabinet ministers, we're in a hurry. Every day that passes, we come closer to nourishing the earth. Every day that passes, we come closer to an election. Every day that passes, we owe the people that we made pledges to serious answers. And Your Excellency, let me end by wishing you the best of success in your coming by-elections and your general elections. For we are unashamed to want to deal with people who are serious. Your Excellency,
did you know that? I'm the only person in this room who visited the Victoria Falls in 1955. Anybody else? And I was free. Did you know that the second time I visited it, I was in leg irons? Did you know that the third time I visited, I was now president? Also, did you know that the biggest number of whites and aeroplanes in Botswana is in Mauni? More than in Gaborone and the rest of the country. On behalf of the government and the people of Zimbabwe, it is my distinguished honor and privilege to warmly welcome you, Your Excellency, President Masisi, and your esteemed delegation to the official banquet on the eve of the third session of the Bi-National Commission between Zimbabwe and Botswana, here in Victoria Falls, Moso Tunya, the smoke that thunders. I greatly appreciate that you were able to honor the invitation to this important meeting, despite other pressing commitments and the continuing hovering threat of the pandemic in our region. We in Zimbabwe value the cordial and fruitful relations between our two countries, which are growing from strength to strength. Your presence here, my dear brother, together with your high-powered delegation, is a clear testimony of the unbreakable bonds that binds our two countries and peoples. I would like to apologize, Your Excellency. Before you arrived, your foreign minister came and greeted me. Then he introduced his delegation. There was no woman. Then I said, I thought my brother, President Masisi, he also appoints women. Why just men alone? He says, no, the women are going to receive you at the hotel. Thank you very much, the late ministers from Botswana. He received me here. As we scale up our relations, it remains important that the impact of our cooperation be felt across all levels of our communities, from grassroots right up to the national levels. Stronger relations between Zimbabwe and Botswana must ultimately serve as building blocks towards accelerating our integration in the SADC region and the continent at large. The realization of the SADC Vision 2050 and the goals of the African Union Agenda 2063 are only possible when we, the member states or countries, work together with unity of purpose as we are doing now. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and increasing frequency of climate change-induced natural disasters, as well as the growing threat of terrorism, are a wake-up call on the urgent need for stronger and mutually beneficial cooperation among African countries and the world at large. No individual country can address these challenges alone. Hence, cooperation at both multilateral and bilateral levels gives impetus to our respective communities to face and address all challenges head-on with greater resilience and collective capacities. Your Excellency, allow me to briefly mention that Zimbabwe is on course towards economic recovery despite sanctions. Recovery and growth and sustainable economic and social development is taking place. In agriculture, the renewed focus on increased productivity, climate mitigation, and the building of resilience in the sector is bearing fruit. We've introduced several models in our agricultural sector to secure food security forever in Zimbabwe. Our policies have had far-reaching impacts on smallholder and communal farmers in particular, with regards to both increased production, productivity, and also improved incomes at the grassroots levels in that sector. I note with satisfaction that our two countries are working closely towards increasing cooperation in agricultural development and food security as one of the key pillars of national development. With regards to road transport infrastructure and dam construction, the use of our own resources and the local construction companies has immense possibilities as a development model which we have adopted. The approach has resulted in the increased capacitation of our local firms, while also enhancing the skills development of our young professionals. In the past, Your Excellency, if we were constructing dams or highways, dualized highways, we never thought it was a local issue for Africans to do. We always thought this must be done by somebody who crosses an ocean. But now we have realized that the capacity is there among our people if they are organized, assisted, and empowered, and we are doing it. We also have introduced, Your Excellency, at every state university in our country since the Second Republic, what we call innovation hubs, where our young girls and boys are free to express themselves in terms of bringing an idea in the head to a paper and the process it to an article or service funded by the state. And when they succeed to commercialize, every state university now has an industrial park, again funded by the state, where that product or that service is now commercialized and the intellectual property is registered. As a result of this approach, I'll ask my Minister of Science and Technology, is the brain behind these things. How many patents now?
Your Excellency, over 200 patents.
Meanwhile, Zimbabwe remains open for business. I once again invite companies from Botswana to come to Zimbabwe and explore the main available investment opportunities. In the past, when we talked of investment, we didn't think about our neighbors. I think it was a result of the fact that majority of ministers had been educated elsewhere. And I was educated in prison, so I'm different. Your Excellency, most of my ministers, these professors, from abroad. But I was educated in prison and I'm doing the correct thing, because it's local. The business forums that we are hosting on the sidelines of these bi-national commissions meeting must help unlock opportunities for our business communities and the fact that translate into concrete investments by our own people. Your Excellency and dear brother, your statement at the United General Assembly in September last year, calling for the removal of sanctions against Zimbabwe, is testimony to the unbreakable bond between our two governments and peoples. We thank you, Your Excellency. Let me equally express Zimbabwe's deep appreciation for the continued support and solidarity of SADC through its emphatic calls for the removal of illegal sanctions imposed on us by some Western countries. We were in Brussels together a few days ago. They removed the sanctions. Is General here? Yeah, he's off now. 2 days off sanctions. And the Vice President, these are what former general thing. But they've kept sanctions on companies. They only remove sanctions on persons. As we face present and any future challenges, let us remain emboldened by the spirit of our founding fathers of our region. That entails that an injury to one is an injury to all. As it was during the struggle for the liberation and independence, so it is this day. United we stand, divided we fall. During our period of armed struggle, Botswana served our revolution throughout, despite the consequences which fell on Botswana as a result of aggression by Ian Smith. But the people of Botswana stood by us. We are grateful. Your Excellency, dear brother, pertaining to our continent, we remain committed to peace, stability, democracy, constitutionalism, and good governance, which are key tenets within both SADC and African Union Agenda 2063. But as we can say this many times, but as long as we are a liberation movement, the West only believe us, we are telling the truth. But let me tell you here, we remain committed, because we fought for it, to peace, stability, democracy, constitutionalism, and good governance, which are key tenets within both SADC and the African Union Agenda 2063. It is from the united pursuit of these goals that a strong and independent Africa should emerge. On the international arena, let us continue cooperation in the promotion of multilateralism and the reform of the United Nations system, especially the United Nations Security Council, guided by the 𝐒𝐓𝐄𝐄 consensus and elaborated in the SIT declaration in Libya. As I conclude, my dear brother, allow me to express my confidence that our engagements in this third session of the Bi-National Commission between our two countries will be a resounding success. In fact, I'm not guessing anymore. Me and my brother have gone through your work. So, we shouldn't praise them on it.
No, they're with it.
Okay. Since my brother says so, I was going to say you almost did well. But my brother says, oh, you did well. Okay, good. By the way, Your Excellency, the defeat suffered by our Zimbabwe national women's soccer team, the mighty warriors, by the zebras of Botswana, was organized. In the spirit, of good neighborliness, and ensuring that you are not sorrowful during this important session.